Chasing the Falconers. Chapter 5. A woman's angry voice called, "Fool dog, are you into my laundry again?" The animal did everything but talk. In the chorus of barking, Aiden could almost hear it. "Call the police! There are two escaped convicts hiding in our hayloft!" But all the woman could see was her soiled sheet. "Bad dog, and stay away from that barn. You don't rile up the cows before milking. What's gotten into you?" Aiden sneaked a look. The woman had gone back inside. A second later, the chastening shepherd slunk into the barn. Parking itself at the bottom rung of the ladder, it glared up at the loft, sniffing and growling. "Now what?" whispered Meg. Aiden wasn't sure. How long would the dog wait for them there? Hours? Days? Mom and Dad had traveled a lot on the lecture circuit, so the Falconers had never had a pet. How patient could a man's best friend be? And how long before the people who lived here figured out that that shepherd was trying to tell them something? Aiden would not have believed it possible to sleep in this situation. But the next thing he knew, it was full daylight, and Meg was flaked out in the straw beside him, dead to the world. He gave her shoulder a gentle shake. "Meg," she started. "I'm awake." "Shh!" There was a mechanical hum coming from the barn below, and the occasional clanking noise. Milking machines. Aiden risked a look down the ladder. A chorus of angry barking rose to greet him. "Get out of here, Sparky!" snapped a man's voice. "Every time you chase up a rat up that ladder, we have to put up with your infernal racket." The two rats in the hayloft looked at each other hopelessly. How were they ever going to get out of there? At last the milking was over, and the cows were taken out to pasture. Sparky never moved a muscle. He sat like a sentry, practically hugging the base of the ladder. "We're going to have to run for it," whispered Meg. "We wouldn't stand a chance." It was high noon before the farmer, his wife, and three children piled into a huge SUV parked in the driveway. "Sparky, where's that dog?" The eldest son ran to the barn, grabbed Sparky by the collar, and hauled him away to the car. The falconers did not allow themselves to breathe until the sound of the motor had faded into the distance. They scampered down the ladder and out of the barn. "It's a good omen," Meg decided. "It means we're lucky." Of all the words that described their situation, lucky was the one Aiden would have picked last. Back in the carousel, they selected clothes at their leisure. Aiden's khakis were loose, but a tackle harness made a suitable belt. The items Meg selected fit perfectly. There was even an old pair of sneakers that cradled her cut and bruised feet as if custom made. She looked hopefully at her brother. "I'm starving." "No way," he said firmly. "For all we know, they've got a burglar alarm in that house, or an old grandmother, or another dog," she agreed, chastened. "But Aiden, look!" Hanging on the wall hooks were three well-used mountain bikes. "We don't need them," Aiden said stubbornly. "Everybody's been treating us like criminals. Let's prove them wrong." "Their speed, and the faster we get away from here, the safer we'll be." Meg could see that she was getting through to him and hurried on. "Besides, we're only borrowing them. We'll just ride out to the nearest town, someplace where we can get on a train or a bus." "Yeah, but a train or a bus to where?" Aiden voiced the concern that had been eating him up inside since they first turned their backs on the burning wreckage of Sunnydale. "Where is this mystery destination of ours?" "Florida," Meg replied readily. "That's where Mom and Dad are." A wave of tenderness washed over him. His little sister had so much spirit. She was bent down by these past months, but never broken. "To do what?" he asked gently. "To bust them out of jail? You're talking about federal prisons, Meg. You can't knock them out with a kerosene lamp. Besides, that's the first place they'll look for us." Her expression grew stormy. "Well, what's your plan besides shooting holes in mine?" "Our parents are in jail because we can't get our act together to get them out." Aiden knew he had to reach her, really reach her, and right now. "There's nothing I wouldn't give for the four of us to be together as a family again. But to say that Mom and Dad are where they are because of us, you'll drive yourself crazy thinking that way. This is not within our power to change. Our parents are locked up because Frank Lindenauer wouldn't come forward to admit they worked for the CIA. That's it." "Well, then, that's what we have to do," she said simply. "We'll find Frank Lindenauer." Her brother stared at her. He did not have the heart to drag her back to cruel reality again. To explain that if teams of lawyers and private investigators couldn't find Lindenauer, what chance did two kids on the run have? She would have to face it sooner or later. But not today. Today, the poor kid had to win at something. We'll take the bikes, he conceded. After drinking deeply at the garden hose and inhaling a few not quite ripe peaches from the tree in the front yard, the Falconers returned to the road, this time on wheels. Once he was riding down the 2-lane highway, Aiden's spirits improved. Being on a bike again just seemed so normal. It was something from his regular life, not this improbable nightmare that had replaced it. The wind in his hair felt great. Meg had to feel it too. At 11 years old, Aiden thought, this is what she should be doing, not fleeing for her life. Meg was too young to really remember the summer the Falconers had vacationed with Uncle Frank, the only time Aiden remembered meeting Frank Lindenauer. It was amazing. After all the years the Falconers had known the man, even before they knew of his CIA connection, they didn't have a single photograph of him or a single document with his name on it, nothing that would prove his existence. Yet Aiden recalled that vacation vividly. He'd been 6, and Meg not quite 2. The memories of the house were the clearest, a pretty white cottage with red shutters on the Vermont side of Lake Champlain. The Falconers had gone back there for several summers after that, enough years that Aiden had established his own secret hiding place behind a loose piece of paneling in his tiny bedroom. It made him blush to think of what passed for treasure in those days: bottle caps, rocks, Cracker Jack prizes, and a handful of pictures from his 6th birthday present, a little box camera. He could almost see the array of dumb family photos: Mom and Dad clowning around, Meg in her stroller, Uncle Frank and his girlfriend in lounge chairs. Without warning, Aiden's bike veered off the shoulder and into the ditch, dumping him unceremoniously into the tall grass. He lay there, stunned, as Meg leaped off her own bicycle and rushed to his side. Aiden, what happened? He accepted her proffered hand and hauled himself to his feet. I. It hardly seemed possible after everything that had happened: the investigation, the defense, the trial, and yet it was staring him right in the face. I think I've got a picture of Frank Lindenauer.